You talk about people that you never seen.
Music. It touches every facet of our American culture. U.S. News and World Report discovered that today's teenagers listen to more than 10,000 hours of rock music in their junior and senior years. That's equivalent to 416 days of constant rock, 24 hours a day. When you realize that the average teenager only spends around 900 hours a year in school, that 10,000 hours has a profound effect. And what messages are teens receiving in today's contemporary music?
Strip your dress down like I was stripping a Peter. Pause, I'm in joy. Let me show you, baby, I'm a talented boy.
Unfortunately, far too often it's not a positive one. The influence of MTV and secular rock music is often promoting sexual promiscuity and rebellion. In addition to the heavy saturation of alcohol advertisements on both TV and radio.
Why can't life be like beer commercials? Why? Ask why. Try Bud Dry. It's
radio specifically is an incredibly powerful tool to influence the impressionable minds of young people. Unfortunately, religious or Christian radio is presented for the most part only a traditional music and programming style.
I am happy as I can be, and I now can say.
This is aimed at ministering to the older adults, most of whom are already established in the church and in their convictions. While radio ministry to this segment is important, what about the needs of the youth and the young adults? Statistics clearly point out that most decisions for Jesus Christ are made before the age of 25, with the majority prior to 18 years of age. This is a most vulnerable age, when value systems and life decisions are being formed. They are being pulled from every direction: peer pressure, fashion trends, promiscuity.
Iron Maiden, Metallica, AC/DC, Black Sabbath.
I watched this one video about Scorpions.
Headbangers Ball, Metallica. 2 Live Crew.
Like MTV?
Yeah.
What do we do? How can we combat Satan's control of the airwaves? How do we get across the positive messages of Christianity without turning these kids off? In 1985, several individuals in South Florida decided it was time to do something. A board comprised of broadcasters, concerned parents, and business people, led by veteran Christian broadcaster Bob Augsburg and his wife, set out to establish a 24-hour FM radio station, one that would be a positive influence on our youth and young adults. After nearly 2 years of hard work and a lot of prayer and patience, the FCC issued a construction permit for the first outreach in Southwest Florida. The permit was received on Christmas Eve, 1986, and within just 9 months, WAYJ, or WAYFM, signed on the air with a totally new concept in radio.
Discover the difference. WAYFM. Heaven bound. Reaching for that higher ground. Heaven bound. Heaven bound. We know I'm heaven bound. Heaven bound.
WAYFM, Christian Hit Radio. A high-energy, exciting station professionally formatted, relaying a message of hope, promoting ideals to youth, like saying no to drugs.
Don't look down or stand around, but keep on reaching for higher ground.
Songs and messages that would help kids realize it's okay to exercise self-control over their bodies.
Young boy, young girl.
A radio station that measures up to the secular standard.
Curtis, come in here.
You know, this high school football stuff is really getting to be serious business, man.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be a really good season, though, you know?
Tell me about it.
Yeah?
You know, I was thinking the other day that football is a whole lot like the post office.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, you know, they both spend hours trying to move a small object, you know, like 100 yards.
Yeah, I know.
Good morning from the WAYM Morning Crew.
All right, it's time to get down and have some fun this morning.
Yeah, we can do that now. Don't forget, folks.
Here is Heather and Kirsten.
But with a focus on communicating Christian principles, social concerns, and most importantly, the love of Christ and the change he can bring about in people's lives.
All over Southwest Florida, young people are looking for their place in this world. And as our Share-a-thon approaches, I think it's good for all of us to know what kind of influence the station's having in helping young people to find their place in this world. Here's a teenager, 17 years old. She writes, I wrote to you a little over a year ago when I first got saved to tell you what a great station you are. Now I'm writing to thank you for keeping me on track. Being 17 years old, sometimes I find myself in situations that are tough to get through. But the songs you play have a way of giving me the right direction I need. From a 17-year-old in Naples. WAYFM 88.7 having an impact in the youth of Southwest Florida.
The best music.
And what an effect it's had.
They had played a song. It was a song by the Imperials about come into my life, and here I was spending hours on the floor on my knees, and then I truly accepted Jesus into my heart as my Lord and Savior.
It's better music to go inside your head so you can use it when it goes through one ear and out the other. It's good because it's good music that comes out.
At first I listened to it just for the music, you know, because it was cool, it was kind of new. And then God just spoke to me and said, you know, you need to give your life to me. And I did, and I had a lot of friends to help me, staff from WAYFM, youth pastors. We're all there.
My past involved a child abuse and my mother committing suicide in front of me. And all I had was a picture of my mother and father. And that's all I had. And I blamed myself for that. And when I heard that song, The Boss, by the Imperials, it talked about, you know, growing up in hard times and growing up and living life where you blamed yourself. And then it turns. And then it turned away, and then somebody came into my life and showed me that it wasn't my fault, and stuff like that. And it showed me that it wasn't my fault. And that song was like a song about me. That one touched me.
When I close my eyes, I know you are here. Hear me again. And when I close my eyes, you feel the prayer I breathe. I hear you say my name. I'm not alone.
WAYFM is licensed as a non-commercial radio station. The FCC license restricts us from selling commercial time. The station operates by the support of individuals, churches, and businesses who believe that our young people in Southwest Florida need this wholesome, Christ-honoring music alternative. Your involvement will keep the dream alive for those who need it most.
Sanctified jam with no religious aftertaste. Christian Hit Radio, 88.7 WAYFM.
Show them the light, and they'll find their own way. You've got the power to turn the night into day. You just show them the light.
All the music talked about, you know, it's talked about drugs, drinking, sex, disobeying your parents and authority, doing what you want when you feel like it, go with whatever feels good. And I started thinking, hey, I'm missing out on all the fun. I started having sex and hanging out with all these different people, and I got pregnant. And I decided to not have an abortion. And the father of the baby pretty much chickened out on us and and left. So now here I am crawling back to my parents, and I feel horrible, and they were right, and I couldn't believe I got myself into such a mess. And ever since then, I've had to just quit listening to that other stuff and just switched to WAY, and WAY has been everything I want in the station.
I couldn't imagine it not being there. It's just, I can't imagine it.
WAY FM it's God's gift, because there's many times, number of times I've turned it on, other people turn it on. It's just been there.
Let's reach this generation, the church of tomorrow,
Somebody show them
while there's still time.
the